Shadow Minister Ferrier-Clark.
Thank you, Ms McDonough. It's an absolute pleasure to serve under your chairmanship. And may I start by thanking my honourable friend, the member for Carshalton and Wellington, for securing this important debate. And I want to thank the members for Strangford, Don Valley and Coatbridge, Crystal and Belshall for their excellent contributions. Chair, the pandemic has had an impact on every aspect of our lives. The people we see, the services we use, and the support we seek in times of need. Whilst this is the case for all of us, it is particularly true for prostate cancer patients. We have heard on a number of occasions in recent months, members from both sides of the House speak about the impact of the pandemic on cancer care and their continually growing backlog. However, this situation was not inevitable. It is, of course, right that we acknowledge the serious impact of the pandemic has had across our NHS and the challenges it has presented. However, we entered the pandemic in a very vulnerable position. After a decade of this government's mismanagement, the NHS went into COVID crisis with a record waiting list and staff shortage of 100,000. It's not just that the Tories didn't fix the roof when the sun was shining. They dismantled the roof and removed the floorboards. This government blames COVID, but the reality is that the performance was declining for years before the virus hit. Access to treatment within 62 days of an urgent referral for urological cancer was at 70.6 in March 2020, down from 84% in 2010 when Labour left office. And now, despite the tireless work of NHS staff, performance against targets has hit a record low. More people than ever before are facing unacceptably long waits for vital cancer tests and treatment. And I hope the Minister agrees with me that this situation is simply unacceptable. So can she tell me exactly what is being done to address this? Now, we have heard the Secretary of State launch a call for evidence, but does he really think, after 12 years in power, that more talk is good enough? Speed of treatment is critical for cancer patients. So when every day, hour and minute counts, prostate cancer patients cannot afford to wait for the government to consult and consider, looking to the sector for answers because they have none themselves. What prostate cancer patients need is firm action now, not another kick off the can down the road, which is rapidly becoming the trademark of this government. As other members have done throughout this debate, I want to pay tribute to the brilliant work of Prostate Cancer UK. Their campaign to identify 14,000 men absent from the prostate cancer treatment pathway due to the pandemic is one that I'm very proud to support, Chair. It is campaigns like this one, that are so vital in raising awareness, and the 400,000 men who have checked their risk of prostate cancer subsequently is a testament to that campaign. So I welcome the investment that the government have made in the campaign, and will be keen to hear from the Minister what plans they have to continue this. These campaigns, as I said, make a real difference, so it is really important that the government recognise the need for further development in the relationship between the NHS and the relevant charities in the future. Awareness is just part of the action we need to take when it comes to prostate cancer. And much more needs to be done to improve patients' journey beyond that initial stage. A clear and accessible diagnosis process is vital to ensure that patients can access the treatment they need in a timely manner. So diagnosis rates have continued to fluctuate for a number of years, and despite peaking in 2018, they made a noticeable drop in 2019 before the start of the pandemic. So given the problems the pandemic has caused in access and primary care service, I'll be very keen to hear from the Minister what understanding they have of where we are now on diagnosis rates. And having spoken to several stakeholders across the cancer sector, They are concerned that many post-pandemic diagnoses will be of later stage cancer, sadly. So I look forward to, therefore, the Minister outlining the steps they will take to ensure that awareness campaigns are not stunted by inaccessible diagnosis pathways, putting patients' outcomes at risk. As I mentioned earlier in my remarks, one area where prostate cancer is particularly lagging behind other cancers is referrals, as it has been referred to by other members this afternoon. And the Secretary of State acknowledged this himself when launching his elective recovery plan, reaffirming his commitment to get back on track when it comes to referral targets. Yet there is absolutely nothing of merit in the plan to reassure prostate cancer patients. The Secretary of State is making is masking his complete lack of action with grand and frankly unhelpful language when talking about launching a war on cancer. These words, Ms McDonough, far from making the Secretary of State look strong, show a gross disrespect for patients and set a dangerous precedent. So I would urge him and all ministers to think about the implication of their language for people living with prostate cancer, and all cancers actually, and the impact it can have on them. Chair, one element that underpins all the issues outlined in today's debate is workforce, as it has been raised by other members. We know that the existing prostate cancer workforce is overstretched, with prostate cancer specialist nurses having a caseload over 3 times higher than nurses covering breast cancer. So without a robust workforce strategy, our NHS will simply not be in a place to provide the support prostate cancer patients need as we emerge from the pandemic and beyond. Yet, ministers continue to bury their heads in the sand. They have failed to bring forward a long-term workforce strategy, and with weeks to go until the end of the financial year, there is still no clarity on Health Education England's budget. In fact, the Secretary of State, and all the Secretary of State can say is that the NHS has to find the money from existing budgets to address the workforce shortage, which is really unhelpful. So can the Minister tell me, does she really think this is good enough? I want to, Chair, also take this opportunity to praise the work of colleagues in the other place in championing the issue of workforce in their consideration of the Health and Care Bill. And I, in particular, welcome Baroness Cumberledge's amendment to the bill to require the regular publication of health and care workforce projections. Can the Minister take this opportunity maybe to reassure us that this amendment will not be overturned when the bill comes to the floor of the House? So I look forward to working with members across the House when the bill returns to keep the workforce issue at the forefront, ensuring that prostate cancer patients and others have the support they need. I would be very keen to hear from the Minister what plans they have on ensuring staff are trained and retained in a sustainable way that ensures prostate cancer patients are always able to access care. People living with prostate cancer need an NHS with the time and the resources needed to support them as we emerge from the pandemic, Chair. So it is about time the government delivered on this. Thank you.